Hello and welcome to another video. This is the Bathtub. We've got episode 4 of our 5-part series of Can You Have Fun for 50p? This is Equilinox, and I'll have a quick read through of the description on Steam for you. Equilinox is a relaxing nature simulation game in which you can create and nurture your own ecosystems, shape different worlds to your liking, cultivate and raise hundreds of different species, and evolve your wildlife to unlock more exotic plants and animals. This was released on the 23rd November 2018, so not the most recent of games, but not the oldest. Developed and published by Thin Matrix. Received very positive reviews on Steam so far and recently. Alright then, so what have we got here? We've got the opening screen of the game. So you've got new worlds that you can create. So you can see from here, you can choose a few basic options. So you've got normal mode, creative mode, and sim modes. They all provide different things, and it just explains what they are. So creative mode to let you pretty much do what you want, where you've unlocked everything, so you can play around with whatever you like basically. Simulation mode is, as you see here, unlimited money, but you do have to unlock any species that you haven't already unlocked. But normal mode is the one where you have to literally start from scratch and evolve from scratch, which is the one that my video will be for. Water options, obviously what it means, how much water is available, and then whether or not you've got smooth, normal, or hilly terrain. Other options, you've got some controls. There's not too many here to worry about, literally as it says in the tin. And again, you've got some basic graphical options, so display size, music volumes, and graphics options as well. And these are what I've chosen just there. So what actually is Equilinox? Well, my first thoughts were it could be very similar to a game that I recently played called Natural Instincts, which, as you'll see from the previous video that I recorded for that game, was quite disappointing. So I didn't really go into this game with too many high hopes. I didn't want to be broken-hearted, but actually, this is a really good, solid game. It focuses much more on the whole biome and the biodiversity side of things. So rather than just focusing on the animal, it focuses on the environment and what you place down. So it's not just animals, as I say, it's to do with the plants you put down, the trees you put down, and the food, shrubbery, that type of thing as well that you place down to create your own biodome. The maps themselves are really cool. So you start off with what is effectively a grid map. So there's water, there's mountainous areas, or just hilly areas, I guess. And you decide literally what you want to do. It's so casual. There's no real you must do this, you must do that. It's very laid back, so you can choose where you'd like to start. So to give you a helping hand, though, the game does give you some targets. There's always things to reach, targets and achievements to reach. So if you unlock this, you get this reward, whether that's money or unlocking of another species. So there is always something prompting you to actually do something to get something else. But you are under ultimate control of what you want to do, and there's no pressure or disqualification or failure of the game otherwise. There's a lot of emphasis in evolution, so you would typically start by placing down some grass, a real basis of an environment, whether that's you're aiming for a forest area or a woodland area. There's different biomes, as I say, there's riverbeds, forest, woodland, grassland, and each of those different biomes will allow for different animals and different plants. So you start off with grass, as I say. You can then introduce different things like sheep or chickens and things like that. And you can then say, right, okay, so what do these animals like? So if they happen to like trees, if they happen to like different types of grasses or herbs or fruits or things like that, you then place those down. But you've got to have the right money for it. And the money is kind of not money as we know it, but reward, so to speak. So the more things you put down and the more things you've got going on your map, the more money you get per second, and it adds up and adds up and adds up, which allows you to spend it. And that money can be spent on things like, as we said a second ago, placing down new animals, placing down new trees, shrubs, different species, rocks, all of that stuff. But it also allows you to purchase evolution. And that might sound a little bit strange, purchasing evolution. Okay, well, that's a bit strange in a way, but it's the money that you might kind of describe to actually fund such a scheme. So as an example, one of the first things you would do is breed pink sheep. So you can change the mutation of these animals. So whether that's the color, the speed, the size, this counts for everything. The animals, the trees, the grasses and the herbs, all of those things. It counts for all of those things, and you can modify them. and different targets require you to modify different things. So an achievement might require you to have a coloured fish, or a slightly larger shrub or slightly larger tree to the standard variation. You have to spend money evolving them. And pollination and breeding happens as you would imagine in real life. So you only need to place down one animal or one tree, for example, and pollination or breeding will just go and create more and more of these things. So if you've enhanced a breed by evolution or modifying the genome, they will then effectively spread what you've suggested doing. So you could end up with some of the standard breed, but you could also end up with some of the modified breed as well. And in turn, those things unlock more things. So the whole thing is a hierarchy of achievements and unlocking of different species. So if you wanted to unlock certain things, you have to achieve these evolutions. And it's really self-explanatory as well. You just click on an animal or anything really on the map, and you can say, right, I want to evolve into this, and you click on that. It tells you what you need to do, whether that's a particular environment or you need to achieve a particular size or color, and it tells you exactly what you need to do. So it's so clear and concise, and there's no difficulty in trying to understand what you need to do or how you can possibly achieve that. The only barrier is potentially the amount of money that you've got available, but then, as I said earlier, to achieve more money, you have to introduce more and more things into your map. There's such an extensive list as well as the things you can unlock. If you just have a look at the menu in the game, you can see what there is to unlock. So you're not confined by what you got at the time. You can always see what you can play with in terms of what you're aiming towards. You can see what you can bring onto your map, which is really good because you've got something to work towards the whole time. And as I said, the accessibility of clicking these things that you've not actually unlocked and seeing what you need to get to them is always readily available for you to know and understand what you need to do. I love the way the filtering system works as well. So if you want to achieve, for example, a woodland biome because you want to encourage, for example, wild boar, and the ability to actually breed wild boar, you can always see exactly what it is that you need to do there, and you can filter it down to show in your list of animals and plants and trees which of those items would suit that biome. So you can always find out what you can use to enhance what your objectives are. And what I love about the objectives is that it's not confined by the game, it's confined by your own imagination and what you want to do. So you can do what the hell you like, if you want to build everything as a forest area, by all means go ahead and bloody well do it, because this game doesn't stop you from doing that. You just need to know what you need to plant or place as an animal breed to actually achieve that goal. That's all there is to it, really. So things I really love about this are the visuals. Now, they're not standard excellent visuals. It's kind of cubic, very squared visuals, and the animals jump around a little bit in a sort of cutesy way, and everything looks very very cartoony and non-realistic, but in a way realistic as well. It's very hard to explain. You'll see it as you watch this, but the graphics are as they are on the screen as you're watching. Not realistic, but very cubism, so to speak, style. But it doesn't matter because it does actually really work, and it looks very nice, and everything's clear as crystal in terms of the user interface as well. It's laid out so nicely, and the evolution itself is so simple to use, and to click on something to modify a particular genome is so simple. One or two things that do kind of maybe need improvement would be if you, for example, I find grass can be modified for various different things, typically herb items, which ultimately can feed various different animals. And if something dies or gets eaten, like a tuft of grass, which you can modify as well, as I was saying, they can get eaten, and your genetic modification process can be interrupted, and that can prove quite frustrating. You spend quite a bit of your currency in modifying, and then it can just be ended by the thing that you're modifying just disappearing, and then you've got to then start it again on another plant or something, and that can become a bit frustrating sometimes. And it does tell you that thing has stopped doing the evolution process or the modification process, so it does tell you that that's been interrupted. But it can be a bit frustrating that those things do happen, and you do have to start again. But yeah, I mean, that's probably one of with very few things that is slightly annoying. But yeah, visually, user interface wise, and actually the freedom of the game itself are the real strong points here. It's this open sandbox game. It's the least stressful thing you'll ever play as a game. There's no way you can lose. Animals can die. I mean, there's no question. You know, I've had many times where my chickens starved to death, and it was just because I hadn't got enough wheat down on the land that they were roaming, and just put some more wheat down, and they tend to be happy. But you can always see, I mean, you can click on the animals, and you can actually take over the animals as well, which is another fun thing. So you can click on them and take them over, and you can walk around as a sheep or as a chicken or whatever other animal that you've got, or a fish. And you can move them around. You can make them make their noises as well. So it's kind of like an onboard cam kind of thing when you take over one of those. It doesn't affect the game. It's just a little bit of fun. But ultimately, the game is place and evolve and achieve some targets, and those targets give you rewards, and that's basically it. But the crux is do it at your own pace, do it in your own time. I really love this game, and for 50p, you're not going to have any problems, I don't think. I mean, it's not the best game in the world, but there is a lot of fun to be had here. And I've played 2 hours, and I don't want to drag these 50p games out for too long and sit here and play 10 hours and give a review for a game with 10 hours worth of gameplay for that price. So I'm just doing 2 hours. So you'll see from my videos, I've not actually unlocked a great deal, certainly the animals, but I've certainly been able to get a good sense of what's achievable in this game and the idea of the game. But it's really, really good. I wouldn't necessarily pay the full price it is on Steam. I think it's possibly a bit steep if you were to have a look on Steam and see the full price as of today's date. So yeah, I mean, get it on a discounted price possibly, and you'll have a good few hours of fun with it as something a little bit different. But perhaps it's not worth anything over £10, I would say. But yes, certainly worth the 50p. Absolutely no complaints. But yeah, not bad at all. I certainly recommend giving this one a go. Well, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and we will, of course, see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.